Yo, it's Friday night, 9 p.m. sharp. You know what time it is.
NarcoCop and Timmy T hitting you with that Lambo energy.
He's Mike by name, but the streets call NarcoCop. Used to bust dealers, now he's busting long shots. Retired badge, now he's bad with the bets. Octagon fiend, cashing slips, no regrets. Friday night fights, Seki poured on ice. Lambo Plays podcast, breaking down the price. Got parlays, KO, subs in round 3. Split decision magic, cash it like a G. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KO's a B, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. Tim Soriano, lotion in hand. Tennis coach by day, fight fan of the land. Watching WMMA, yeah, you know the drill. Playing with himself, just joking, but still. Impressions fly, Katona in the house. Rose's jeweler squeaking, Tim's loud like a mouse. Cornolle vibes, he's stealing the show. Narcos like bruh, but they still go toe to toe. Round 2 chaos, round 3 gold. Split decisions, bets unfold. Side case sipping, parlays lit. Lambo energy, never quit. Lambo Plays, it's a wild parade. Long shots flying, getting that paid. Tim with impressions, Narco's got the locks. Whisper bet of the week, gonna shock your socks. Lambo Plays, the odds go cray. Spin that wheel, it's a betting ballet. KOSOB, round 2 or 3. Hit that split, cashing big LFG. NarcoCop, Timmy T, Friday nights, a Lambo Plays podcast. Where long shots live large, and splits hit harder. We out. We out. We out.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to NarcoCop MMA. This is the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 160, UFC Houston, and I'm your host, Mike, along with a special guest, Uncle Weezy, filling in for Tim. Tim is in Vegas eating up all the buffets. I don't know if you know the story, Uncle Weezy, but Tim got kicked out of the Caesars buffet because he ate way too much. They're like, dude, whoa. They're like, this is insane. Like, you are just eating way more. And it's an expensive buffet. It's $100. But somehow Tim manages to eat more than $100 worth of food. And if I tell you that guy can eat.
Dude, I'll tell you, man, that is a baller move. If you are getting kicked out of $100 buffet for eating too much, bravo, chef's kiss. That is like baller.
Yeah. I mean, Tim managed to do it. I had to put my head down and like walk the other way. I'm like, I don't know this guy. This guy ate the entire buffet. I don't know who he is. But yeah, and now the issue is, you know how when you walk into a casino and if you're like an advantage player or a guy that's done something, they've kicked you out of the casino, right?
Yeah.
In the security room, they have all these photos of these guys that are kicked out. Tim is in there kicked out from the fucking buffet. So
they got a picture of him like Homer Simpson with like food all over his face.
Yeah, that's Tim over there. So yeah, I mean, he's out there. So Uncle Weezy is filling in. I appreciate him. Thank you, Uncle Weezy, for coming on. But UFC Houston, 14 fights. We had one weight miss as far as I know. But yeah, everybody else made weight. All the fights are scheduled to go. I'm a little surprised, honestly. 14 fights. Usually when we have 14, one falls out, two falls out. But everybody's on point with making weight. So yeah, how do you feel about the card in general, Uncle Weezy?
I think it's a really great card because the cards that I don't like are where everybody that should be minus 250 is minus 500. You know, and then like you've got to try to just like play blown up props or, you know, take a shot on an underdog that probably doesn't have much of a chance to win. At best, it might be like a value loser. But here, you know, you got Delija at -130. You got Idiris at -130. You got the Brahimaj Soriano fight at a pick 'em. You got a lot of guys that are within bettable ranges, no matter whether you're betting the favorite or the underdog. So this is where you can really make your money if you have some good reads. So I'm looking forward to breaking this down, seeing where we align on these fights.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good, like, you know, like a fight night card, right? It's a fight night card. It's really good in my opinion. Very good main event. I mean, you normally would not get something like this in a regional, like, you know, I'm sorry, in a fight night type of card. But here we are, you know, it's Strickland, Hernandez. I know it's not for the title or anything, but still, like, this is a high level fight.
Yeah.
And I don't know either or, but one for sure. I know if one guy wins, he's probably going to get a title shot, you know, would be my guess. And that would be Hernandez, maybe even Strickland. I don't know, you know, but yeah, these are two guys that are all the way up there. The co-main event should be exciting. There's just really good matchups in general. Before we move on really quick, I do want to clear up the air a little bit here because I had a lot of messages from people saying, what happened to you? Why haven't you been on YouTube? We're followers, we're this, we're that. Well, I've said it many times on X that, you know, something happened with my YouTube. They pulled it down. I didn't want to mess around anymore with it. So I stayed off of it for a while and I went over to Rumble. I am back now. And that's basically the reason, you know, my video got pulled basically for nothing. I didn't even do anything wrong. My video got pulled. I got a strike. I am back now. Anyways, one other thing, if you look with the scrolling right down there, Discord link in the description below, join for free. There's a free section. I give out free plays. We're up 14 units so far in 2026. I track everything on there. I have a ton of bets in Cage Warriors, in the UFC, in BKB. So there's a lot of bets going on this week. I have a lot of units delegated for UFC actually this week. Normally, I don't really bet a ton of units on the UFC, but I have a good amount this week. All right. Before we move on, let me shout out my chat really quick. Saint Trunks says, about time. I appreciate you, my man. Rice, baby. Welcome back to YouTube. I appreciate you, my man. I am definitely back here. Dixon, Narco, please tell me Tim sent in a video of the great Cornholio. He actually did it. Tim is no, he's probably at the buffet again. God knows. That boy on Rumble, appreciate you there as well. By the way, guys, if you do have an account on Rumble, please go over there and follow me and like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. What's up, Mushroom? What's up, Narco? And Uncle Weezy, 19 hours, 53 minutes, and 31.452 seconds. He came through this week. I said you need to go 3 decimal points. He did. So shout out to Mushroom there. 3 decimal points. Thank you, NarcoCop, and special guest host Uncle Weezy. Appreciate your time and quality info always. Thank you, Azure. Mr. King Nika says the joke of the MMA world. I don't know who the hell he's talking about, but if I'm a joke or Uncle Weezy's a joke, you're in here. So I don't know who's the actual joke. Eric Will, Narco, and Weezy should star in a buddy cop movie. Yeah, that would be actually pretty good. That would actually be pretty good. We're both from Chicago originally, like I am. Yeah. And Uncle Weezy's out there in Chicago, actually in a neighborhood that I worked for a lot of years. So
yeah, that neighborhood has changed quite a bit since you were working it back in the day, man.
In 2001, where Uncle Weezy's living was not the same, guys. There were gangbangers running around all over the place.
Yeah. When I was a kid, when we would go down to visit my grandfather in Chicago, and we lived in Park Ridge, right? We would get off there at Diversey in California, and we would drive up Diversey to my grandpa's apartment there at the lake. He was at 330 Diversey, and my mother would always be like, "Lock the doors," you know. And then she would tell you, like, say to my dad, like, "Why do we have to go this way? Why can't we just take Lakeshore Drive?" You know?
Yeah, going down Diversey there, you go right through those projects there. There's some big time projects over there. Those are dead now, by the way. Like my last couple of years, they took them down.
Yeah.
All right. Joseph Curie says, this card smells like violence. I kind of agree. MMA Tard, thank you for joining. Jackie Blaine, what's up, my man? Tristan says, add Pick'em MMA as a guest if you don't have one already. I will do that. Pick'em MMA. I will keep that in mind. Colstein, Lambo, he says. Tim DePetris says, settle down in these picks and let's knock them out this week in honor of H-Town. Yep. I like that. DA07, YouTube better not mess around. Let's get it, Narco. Yeah, they better not mess around. If they mess around this week, they're going to be in big trouble. 710 Samurai, what's up, ninjas? What's up, my man? Who do we have? Landon Warner says, a great guest. Yes, Uncle Weezy is definitely a quality guest. Joey, I'm seeing a lot of finishes this week. Yeah, I tend to kind of agree with that. There's some banger fights. T-Carb says, let's go. Best of luck tomorrow, Narco, Weezy, and chat. Jackson says, look out. It is Narco and Uncle Weezy. Narco looking spry after his 72-hour water fast. Oh, yeah. Guys, I feel very fucking good right now. My water fast was done at 5. I had homemade chicken noodle soup for my wife with no noodles. I said, do not put noodles in there because you kind of have to ease back in. You don't want a lot of carbs and stuff like that. So I said, no noodles, just some vegetables and broth and a little bit of chicken, right? I eased in like that. I haven't had anything else, just some water and a nice old fashioned here. But tomorrow we will get back on the grind. I mean, we're going to have to get a nice pizza with wings for the card tomorrow.
There you go.
All right. Nanandal says, even the bums on the fence are scrapping outside my window. It's a great time to fight talk. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Gus, man of culture. Yes, sir. Thank you, Gus. Who else we have? Bonino, good cop, bad cop. Weezy is Denzel in Training Day. I like that one.
I didn't know you like to get wet.
Yeah. Bloom Dog. Oi, buddy cop movie. Everybody's on this today. What is going on? Todd Rockwell, will there be less split decision predictions this week? Well, Tim is not here. Let's just say that. And Tim is the king of split decisions. All right. 201 live viewers, Uncle Weezy, and we will kick it off here. First fight of the night. It is in the women's flyweight division. It is the 5-2 Carly Judice versus the 4-3 Juliana Miller. Currently, Carly Judice is a minus 805 favorite, and the comeback on Juliana Miller plus 580. Before I kick this off to you, Uncle Weezy, I'm sure you saw that tweet I put out with Juliana Miller in her car being really pissed off. The thing blew up. It has like 300K views. It's like absolutely blew up. That was not my intentions. I thought it was just really funny, but the thing absolutely blew up. So I guess Juliana Miller does not have Twitter because she probably would have cussed me out for putting that out there. But yeah, so huge favorite, big underdog.
Yeah.
Anything that sticks out as far as a prop, something that you think would have some value?
Well, I think the best value play, not like a Lambo play, is that when I saw Carly Judice at minus 130 to win by knockout and the under 2.5 rounds at minus 138, I was like, oh, that's an easy play. Just play the under 2.5 rounds because Juliana could get a submission, if she winds up getting takedowns or whatever, or ground and pound. And yeah, I mean, like, what if somebody throws a banana peel into the cage while they're fighting and then Carly goes down in a heap? Juliana gets on her back. She's going to submit her. She's really good. I mean, she can't wrestle for shit, but she might get her down at some point, whether it's a sniper in the audience, somebody chucking a banana peel in there. Maybe they dump some grease in there and somebody slips. Anything can happen in MMA. I mean, we've seen different ways of fights ending. So, like, I think the only Lambo play here is just the Miller money line, because I could kind of see her, like, let's just say that it turns out Carly's takedown defense is worse than we thought. Juliana might be able to get a takedown in a couple of different rounds and bank the rounds and win a decision. She might get a ground and pound knockout. She might get a submission. So I think if you're gonna play for like a Lambo play, don't mess around when the underdog is plus 580. Just play her money line. But other than that, I kind of like the under 2.5 rounds still. It's sitting around, I think, minus 150. And I think that because that covers a Judice KO, but it also covers the very unlikely scenario where maybe Miller does get a takedown or, win a couple of rounds or get a ground and pound or a submission finish.
Yeah. I mean, Juliana Miller's a Lambo play just by herself on the money line. The problem is, I just think she is not UFC level, honestly. Like, she has not improved their striking whatsoever. She's 7 fights into her career. She took a decent layoff last time between Luana Santos and her last fight. So she was off for 2 years. I think she was injured. She had like a knee injury or something. But
yeah, I
mean, the striking has not improved like whatsoever. The striking defense is not there. A lot of times I'm seeing she's reaching forward with her hands like to defend punches because she's so uncomfortable in the striking and she's getting hit. And the big issue for her here is Carly Judice is a very good striker. She works everywhere on the body. She's throwing low kicks. She's throwing body kicks. She throws punches to the body. She goes to the head. And her volume is absolutely insanity. I mean, yeah. I'm looking at these stats on her volume, like in her other fights. And it's truly mind-boggling that, 168, 169, 109. These are 3-round fights, guys.
Yeah.
What would happen if this girl fought 5 rounds? Would it be like 350, 400 significance, right? Like, it's insane, her volume, right? Her cardio is really, really good. I know in the Karascate fight in the Dana White's Contender Series, she got a little bit tired at the end, but she took that fight on very, very short notice. And so I understand why she got tired there, but for the most part, her cardio is really, really good. She got a finish in her last 2 fights. Dubin was a nasty KO, head kick KO, and then she just beat up on Cagliari for 3 rounds, to be honest. Like, it was just a one-way beatdown, and she just finished her. The thing with Miller, like, Cagliari is a better offensive wrestler, grappler than Miller is. Like, she's more physical, right? And she just had a hard time. She got her down one time and she popped right back up. It's just, I think Judice is just stronger than Miller. She's just better than Miller everywhere outside of jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. So when we're looking for a Lambo play, there's really nothing like great, because I do think Judice can knock her out in any round. Miller is sort of tough. So I'm going to go 2-3 KO. It's plus 280. I don't mind it. I think it could be a variety of ways, accumulation, stuff like that, because Miller is tough. And maybe in round 1, she kind of could bleed the clock a little, trying to clinch and do stuff like that, But I don't love it, because I truly think Judice could kill her in round 1 as well. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked, right? So, yeah, I'm going to go with 2-3 KO for Carly Judice at plus 280. Let's move on. Fight number 2. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 12-3 Jordan Leavitt versus the 10-0 Yadier Del Valle. Del Valle minus 400, and the comeback on Jordan Leavitt at plus 300. And quite frankly, before I did tape, I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to bet Jordan Leavitt here. I'm probably going to bet him because I remember Del Valle, he pulls a lot of guillotine. He'll end up on bottom. He might give Jordan Leavitt the chance to potentially sub him, on top. But then when I roll the tape, I see Jordan Leavitt, by the way, is moving down to 45.
Yeah.
And I listened to his interview, Uncle Weezy, and his reasoning was he has too many friends at 155. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you have too many friends at one? So he doesn't want to fight his friends, and he says he has way too many friends at 155. So now he's going to 45. Well, the cardio can work in 2 ways. Maybe he does more running now because he has to cut more weight and his cardio will improve, or he has to cut more weight and his cardio is going to be dog shit. Yeah. And to be frank, at 155, his cardio was dog shit. You know, it wasn't very good. The guy really, really slows down in the later parts of the fight. And the thing is, I'm like watching him. Yes, is he getting takedowns in a couple of these fights? Sure. But Paddy Pimblett has bad takedown defense. He's okay with getting taken down. Kurt Holloway is one of the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, a strong gust of wind will take down Kurt Holloway, right? So it's like, to me, it's like, who has he actually taken down that has good takedown defense? And I can't really find it, to be honest, right? Like, Claudio Puelles took him down more times than he took Claudio Puelles down. So the thing is, for me, is like the physicality is big here, in my opinion. I think Yadir Daval is going to be stronger. I think he hits way harder. I think he's the way better striker. It's not even close. And he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I actually think he's pretty damn good on the mat. And with all that, you know, unless Del Valle jumps guillotine, I don't really think Leavitt's going to have success with wrestling, honestly. I really don't. Leavitt sticks his neck in guillotines quite often. You know, I've seen it in a lot of his fights. He was in a mounted guillotine against, I want to say it was Pimblett or Ogden. They had like a really deep mounted guillotine on him. Del Valle has a nasty guillotine. I wouldn't recommend him to fucking pull guillotine, but he might, you know. So I'm gonna go with Del Valle by sub at plus 280. I think it could be KO as well, but I don't think, I would be shocked if this fight went to decision because I think Del Valle is going to finish him at a high clip, honestly. I really do. I wanted to play Leavitt, but after tape, I couldn't. I really couldn't. Uncle Weezy?
Yeah,
any
I don't
differentiating takes here?
Yeah, I'm not really that impressed by Del Valle yet, but I still think that the jury's still out on this guy. You know, I mean, we learned nothing from the Delgarian fight because Delgarian threw the fight. You know, beating Connor Matthews is meaningless to me. And I thought what was the most impressive performance was easily Del Valle's Dana White's Contender Series fight against Montero. I mean, like that was a phenomenal performance. That was an eye-opening performance. But whenever I see one of those eye-opening performances, I definitely look at who the opponent was, and that guy was an absolute punching bag. He was tough. He's the Brazilian Homer Simpson. He's a lot, slimmer and darker than Homer Simpson, but like that's what this guy's game is, right? He just absorbs everything that you can throw, and then he tries to come back later on in the fight because it's almost impossible to knock the guy out. So, I think that Leavitt's going to have something for Del Valle here. I think potentially he might look better at 145. He was always like a decent sized lightweight, but you always could look at his body, when we see these guys, in the UFC, they're always in prime physical condition. I think Leavitt's going to look a lot better at 145. He's had some sneaky power in some of his fights. I don't think Matt Wyman has woken up yet from that slam knockout. And he absolutely torched poor Victor Martinez with those knees in the clinch. And he's a tricky grappler. He's a very tricky grappler. So my thought is Del Valle grappler, Jordan Leavitt grappler. This might wind up being kind of a weird striking match that could wind up playing out kind of close if Del Valle doesn't really get after Leavitt and doesn't really sell out for the pressure. I think he will sell out for the pressure, but I'm not sold on this guy yet. So the way that I'm looking at it is I'm just saying like these violence props are a little bit overpriced just based on who is Yadir Del Valle finish that we should care about. Is Leavitt going to be a little bit, and is this going to be a step up in competition for Leavitt? And of course it is. Or I mean for Del Valle. And of course it is, because before people knew that the Delgarian fight was fixed, Delgarian was sitting around minus 280, minus 300 against Yadir Del Valle. So my pick is Yadir Del Valle by decision. And that's sitting around plus 340. I think he is going to be the better striker. I think he is going to win the minutes and moments on the feet, but I don't think Jordan Leavitt's as bad of a striker as everybody makes him out to be. He throws a lot of kicks. He maintains range fairly well. And he's got a really odd style where he's mixing in his grappling. so it could potentially slow down the offense of his opponent. So I'm thinking overs. I'm thinking Del Valle by decision, and my Lambo plays Del Valle by decision for this fight.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at that, to be honest. I really did, because of how janky Jordan Leavitt is, right? He's got a very, very janky style. And, Del Valle might not go crazy in the striking. He might be weary that he doesn't want to get taken down, right? So, yeah, you definitely, I mean, there's very good points there. And it's very possible that, Del Valle kind of, is a little bit more technical and not crazy like that Monteiro fight where he just absolutely went nuts. And honestly,
that was a great fight, by the way.
I mean, the cardio there was very, very impressive, man.
Very impressive. Even though Del Valle was tired in the third, there was no other way that you couldn't be tired with the output that he had in 1 and 2.
Yeah. I mean, he threw the kitchen sink at that guy.
Yeah, he did.
The guy just wouldn't go away. And honestly, even I've looked at that guy since. He's never been knocked out. Like, I don't know, 25 fights or something.
Yeah.
This fucking guy has never been knocked out. And you can see why. But let's somebody's saying that Del Valle is fighting out of Texas. I think he's always been out of Texas. He's been in Texas for a while because he fights out of Fury. I know Fury very well, so he's been in Texas for a while. So I think he does move a little bit. I want to say to Miami or somewhere in Florida. I'm not sure. But
he's Cuban, so it wouldn't be a surprise if he was in Southern California. Southern Florida for some of the time.
Let's go, Weezy. Best in the game. There you go.
Appreciate
Uncle
you, man.
Weezy in the house. All right. Let's move on to fight number 3. It is in the men's welterweight division. It is the 11-6 Phil Rowe versus the 9-2 John Paul Lebosnoyani. Currently Lebosnoyani minus 210, and the comeback on Philip Rowe is plus 180. Rowe missed weight 2 pounds. I will say something very awkward, by the way. I watched the weigh-ins and he missed weight by 2 pounds, right? He was 172. And then I watched the ceremonials and they announced him at 170.5 pounds. So I don't know if he weighed back in after the fact and he made weight. I don't know what happened.
He did. That's what I heard happened. He missed by 1 pound because you're allowed to 171. Sure. He missed by 1 pound. And then I heard, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I definitely heard in my Discord that he came back and made weight.
Okay. So I'm going to leave this off to you. I'm going to kick this off to you. I will say is that's kind of a bad sign where he had to cut more weight.
Yeah.
The second time. It's not good. That's definitely not good. But yeah, the floor is yours. What do you like here for this fight?
Yeah, when I researched this one, it kind of came down to either Lebosnoyani by decision or Rowe by knockout. And the Lambo play that I'm going to give is Rowe by knockout. Around plus 460. 100% of this guy's UFC wins are by knockout. He's one of the laziest fighters I've ever seen, Narco. I mean, like this guy, he takes so long to get into gear. His takedown defense is Kurt Halabaugh-esque. It's Vanessa Demopoulos-esque. It's some of the worst takedown defense that you could possibly ever see. And he's one of the most frustrating guys to bet on. But man, can this guy pull it out of his ass in the third round if you get tired, if you slow down, if you stop trying to take him down. And, I think that Lebosnoyani is the kind of guy that doesn't have great wrestling. Like you watch a lot of this guy's tape and you're like, when is he going to shoot a takedown here? Especially when he's fighting some of these bigger guys, when he moved from 155 up to 170. I was thinking like in a couple of these fights, like the Queeks, he fought a dude named like Queeks or something like that, who was a striker.
Yeah. He's a Muay Thai guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he never tried to take the guy down. I think until like the third round, maybe he tried to grapple like a little bit or something. And I was, so I'm a little bit worried that Lebosnoyani's not going to try to go out there and do what because this is an IQ test for him. If I'm looking at my stat sheet here, Narco, 4 inches taller and an 8 inch reach advantage for Phil Rowe in this fight. So that's crazy. Like if Lebosnoyani willingly stays at kickboxing range with this guy, he failed the IQ test, because all you got to do is watch Phil Rowe's tape to know that this guy's takedown defense is hot ass, and that he is not going to get back up if you take him down, and he's not going to really effectively threaten you with submissions either. And even if he could do that, Lebosnoyani's been, this dude came out of the womb in a gi. So I mean, I don't think you're going to submit this guy. So both of Lebosnoyani's knockouts or losses come by way of knockout. He got flatlined by Spike Carlisle, who's a featherweight. And now he's moved up to lightweight and then now welterweight here. So at plus 460, I think Phil Rowe might need just like one clean shot at some point in this fight, and he might be able to end it, because I think Lebosnoyani, the one thing that's a little bit in question for him, in my opinion, is the durability. So as much as I think it could be easy for Lebosnoyani to win minutes and kind of get a decision win here at like plus 300 or better, I think the Lambo play for me is Rowe by KO at plus 450, plus 460.
Yeah, I mean, Rowe, very frustrating fighter for sure. Getting taken down. He did nothing against like last fight. Like laid on his back for like 13 minutes.
Yeah, I bet him there, dude. That was horrible to watch.
And Cole looks good. I don't want to take that away from him. Cole has looked pretty damn good. He's obviously a good grappler. But the thing with Rowe is, like you mentioned, that like he's pulling shit out of his ass. Like Angelusa fight, he's losing, right? He's losing that fight. He gets dropped in that fight against Angelusa. He does not look good in that fight at all, and then pulls it out of his ass at the end. You look at some of these other fights, and he just doesn't pull away, man. He just does, even in his wins, like it's got to be a late round bullshit that he pulls out of his ass to win. You know what I'm saying? So Nico Price fight, okay, but Nico Price is just, we know he's done. He's over the hill. Even in that fight, it's kind of competitive at certain points. Nico landed on him.
Nico almost finished him in the third.
Yeah.
He almost finished him, and then he got tired, and then Rowe finished him. So yeah, man.
And John Paul, I will say, he has been improving, especially his striking. It's gotten better. Though my major concern is not even the durability. I think he's pretty durable. I think his problem is his defense, man. It's not very good. He gets hit pretty clean on the feet. Even in the Contender Series fight, it was an early knockout, but that Congdon guy landed some shots on him in that 1 minute, So it is concerning that he's going to face a long guy, a guy that has pretty good hands, And then you mentioned it, the fight IQ. What are you doing in that Kuex fight? Like, you are giving this guy his only way to win, and you're giving him that shot because you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to strike with this guy. Why?
Yeah.
You are a black belt in jiu-jitsu. His submissions are really, really good. He trains under his dad, who was like a world-class guy under Royson Gracie, or one of the Gracies. I know he trained under one of the Gracies. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So, I think Rowe's time is coming as far as getting KO'd. He's getting dropped and hurt in so many fights. I don't think this is the one. Honestly, I really don't. I'm going to go with Lebosnoyani by decision at plus 320. I think he can win minutes. I think he can get top time. It is going to be sketchy, honestly, if he gets on top of Rowe, because he's a very good BJJ guy. I know Rowe is good as well, but it's going to get dicey, I think, on the mat. But I mean, plus 320 is too big. It's just too big. I mean, this guy, I know he's got a lot of finishes, but the level of opposition is not like wonderful. You know what I'm saying? And that Kuex guy took him to decision, Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to go with John Paul Lebosnoyani by decision at plus 320. And we will move on. Fight number 4. It is in the men's welterweight division. It is the 12-4 Punahele Soriano versus the 13-5 Ramiz Brahimaj. Currently, it's a pick 'em, Uncle Weezy. It's minus 110 on each side. So there's money that has been coming in on Punahele Soriano because if I'm not mistaken, he was like +1. Yeah, he was like 130 a couple of days ago. Not 130. 115, 110. Yeah. He's around 115, 110. And now he's at Pick'em. And in the beginning, I kind of wanted to play Soriano at plus money just because I think he has wrestling upside. I think he hits harder on the feet. And I think at 170, he's going to be the stronger guy in the cage, you know, in general. The problem I had with watching Soriano is, one, he kind of gasses, which is a little bit of a concern. Two, he loves to like stick his neck in guillotines for whatever reason. And he did it plenty of times against Veretennikov. And Veretennikov almost got him. I mean, there was one sequence, I don't know if you remember, Puna's face was turning purple because he was in a tight guillotine. And Veretennikov didn't finish him. But if he's in the same guillotine against Ramiz, who's a black belt and good on the ground, and he's very good with his front chokes, I don't think he would have got out, honestly. I think he would have probably gone to sleep. So that was my concern with Punahele. Like, getting tired, putting yourself in guillotines against a very, very good grappler who most of his submissions are literally front chokes. Like, a lot of guillotines, a lot of that kind of stuff, you know. So he is very, very dangerous when you're shooting on him. We saw Austin Vanderford. He got the Souk choke on Austin Vanderford and subbed him there. So, yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised that the line fight goes to decision was so big at plus money. I don't understand why. I think both guys are super durable, like as far as KO is concerned. I don't really see Puna finishing much. Yes, maybe he can land a big shot. But Ramiz is pretty defensively responsible. His hands are up. He moves a lot. So I don't think it's going to be easy. And I know this is the thing with this fight is like, I know Brahimaj is never won a decision. He's 0-4. But I could see him winning the decision here, honestly. I really can. And it's like plus 750. It's like, I think this fight goes to the decision. And who I think wins? I think Puna wins. But the decision prop on Ramiz is huge, man. And I don't think Puna's the type of guy that just kind of pulls away from fights, right? It's not like with Ramiz, I don't think he could just lay on top of him like he did against Veretennikov. You know what I'm saying? So I'm playing the plus 750, Uncle Weezy here. Like, why not? I know he's never won a decision, but I do think he can win a decision.
I agree. I mean, like, my pick is Punahele Soriano by decision for a couple of reasons, right? Number one, I think Puna's more powerful on the feet. I mean, the guy has demonstrated power, not just at welterweight, but at 185 as well. This guy was knocking out 185ers, you know? So now that he's moved down, and I was never a big fan of Puna at 185 because he's a gasser. And he was reliant on power. He's not really a minute winner at distance striking range. And when he was at 185, he wasn't wrestling at all. We knew he could wrestle. We knew he had a wrestling background and a judo background. He just didn't use it. Now he's actually using it. And that makes him so much easier to bet on because you now know that with Soriano, you can get that power on the feet. You're getting a solid striker, but you're getting somebody that is a really explosive wrestler. I don't necessarily like the single legs and having to run the pipe and that kind of stuff. Like, I like seeing somebody get a blast double, run right through the dude and put him flat on his back and then just start working to consolidate that top position. And that's what Puna does. He picks you up and then puts you down. And I haven't seen anybody really be able to stop his takedowns, not even close. In this division, you know, at welter, or I mean, at middleweight, it would have been different. But at welterweight, this guy's wrestling is really translating. So I kind of feel like Soriano could find big moments on the feet, and I feel like he can win minutes with wrestling in top time. But if he does wrestle a lot, he's going to have to worry about that submission game of Brahimaj. The guy's a legit black belt, and he's a submission specialist, and his striking is really taking the next step. I love this guy's counters. He's always countering. He doesn't let you kind of get into the pocket and start throwing for free, because Ramirez isn't afraid to get hit, and he is gonna counter you every time you step into that pocket. So I kind of see this being like a clinchy fight, a fight where maybe Soriano's getting takedowns but having a hard time holding him down because of the front choke attacks of Ramirez, because of how tricky Ramirez is on the ground. And then I see it coming down to who wins the minutes. So, I think my favorite bet is just fight goes at plus 180, because then you don't have to, think too much about, whether Soriano is going to win the moments or whether he's going to be able to avoid the submission attempts. And you could just say that, hey, I'm going to bank on the fact that I know Puna's durable. He's been knocked out before, but it was at 185 by Roman Kopylov. It's a completely different level of striker, and we've seen, obviously, Puna get submitted as well, but again, at 85 against a pretty good grappler. Who got him? Stoltzfus, right? I think it was still, yeah. So it was Stoltzfus that submitted him, and Kopylov that knocked him out. But,
Kopylov, to his credit, he took some huge shots there to the face. It was a body kick that hurt him.
Yeah.
Finished him.
Absolutely. And, and in Soriano's defense, I don't think he was really caring about Veretennigov's guillotine. I mean, he probably was like, I could take this guy down whenever I want. And if he wants to go for the guillotine, let him. This guy's not going to finish me. This guy is not a grappler. So I think Puna, when he does try to take Ramirez down, he's going to be a lot more careful about. We might kind of see him shoot those head on the outside single legs this time instead of the blast doubles, just because it's a little bit harder to snatch up a neck when you do something like that. So, I think it's going to be Puna by decision, but I mean, and I guess that would be my Lambo play, but I think my favorite play is just fight goes, because both of these guys are durable. Ramirez might get a submission, but I don't think Soriano is going to submit Brahimaj. I don't think he's going to knock him out, because Brahimaj is super durable. This is a great fight, dude. This is great matchmaking. Two guys on win streaks right now. Each of them has a 3-fight win streak coming into this fight.
Yeah. I do think it's a great fight. It is a great fight, and we're gonna see. Brahimaj has looked good, but the level of opposition is not. I mean, Vanderford, I don't know what to make of that guy. He came from Bellator, and I don't know. I didn't even think he looked great against Veretennikov. That was the weirdest stoppage or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's a pick 'em for a reason, right? The books are thinking it's a close fight too. So, all right, let's move on. Fight number 5. It is in the women's bantamweight division. It is the 9-3 Nora Cornolle versus the 16-6 Jocelyn Edwards. Currently, Edwards is a -315 favorite, with the comeback on Nora at plus 265. Uncle Weezy, this one's yours. Put away your lotion and give us a play.
Yeah, what's going on beneath the table here, none of you guys need to know about, but I'm going Jocelyn Edwards inside the distance here, right? Because it covers the knockout, it covers the submission, and I think she's probably equally likely to do either here. With Jocelyn, she's finished her last 3 wins, right? And she's still only 30 years old. So we know that she kind of switched camps, and she was training with I heard she was training with Valentina Shevchenko, who's fluent in Spanish. So she was able to, they were probably able to be really good training partners for each other. And as well, we've seen her finish her last 3 fights. And this time when they fight, because the last time Jocelyn was 27 and Nora was 33. Now this time Jocelyn's 30 and Nora's 36. So I think that Cornhole's career trajectory is kind of headed lower. Jocelyn Edwards' career trajectory is heading higher, and she's showing that the power that she showed on the feet in the Priscilla Cachoeira fight was really, really impressive to me. And I think it's kind of interesting, right? Because we see Jocelyn sitting around a 75% implied here, 76, right? But they've got her decision prop, at minus 143, dude. That's a 59% implied probability, which means that they're not giving her much of a chance to finish this fight. But she's finished her last 3 fights, and she's fought this girl before, and rematches rarely take place like exactly the same way the first one did, unless, of course, you're a dumbass like Diego Lopez and you go out there with the same dog shit game plan that lost you the fight the first time. So Jocelyn Edwards inside the distance plus 360. I think it could be a knockout or a submission. I think that's a pretty good play this week.
Yeah. Listen, Cornolle is 36, right? For their first fight, I want to tell everybody, this is a rematch, by the way. It's funny when you look at this fight, right? And it's a rematch. And one girl that won the first fight is a plus 65 dog, right? That should tell you all you need to know, that the girl that won the fight is a huge underdog here, right? And the reason why is when you watch that fight, she probably shouldn't have won that fight, but it was in France and they kind of robbed Edwards. Now, in that fight, my major concern with Edwards was how many times she was reversed in that fight. It's a big concern, and it's still a little bit of a concern for me. She is getting better, and she's gotten better since that fight. And Cornolle, since that fight, has gotten older, right? She's 36 years old. She's not young. So, one girl's gotten better. One girl's gotten older, right? I don't think it's a great look for Cornolle the last fight against Carol Hossa, where she absolutely got washed in the grappling. Hossa just took her down and just laid in her guard, laid on top. I mean, the thing with Hossa that I've realized over time is she's just not going to get finishes in the UFC. Like, this girl's content on being on top, winning a decision. She just has no urgency to finish, because I think she could have finished in that fight, but she just had no urgency, Uncle Weezy. Zero, right? Jocelyn Edwards, on the other hand, she's showing urgency to finish fights in the UFC, right? She's gotten, 2 or 3 straight finishes, right? 3, sorry. She's got 3 straight finishes. She was very close to finishing Cornolle in round 3 in that fight by a rear naked choke. She had a hooks in, she had her deep, and she was trying to go for it at the end of that fight, but she didn't get it. I think she's going to sub her this time, Uncle Weezy. It's plus 750. Edwards is the much better grappler. It's not close. We saw it the first time. She got takedown after takedown against this girl. And like I said, she's only getting better. We saw her submit Vidal in round 3 in that fight, right? Getting her back and getting the rear naked choke. I think she's going to do the same thing here to Cornolle. I think she's going to get her back and get the rear naked choke on this girl. She didn't get it the first time. I think she's going to get it the second time. Also, on top of that, I like 2-3 here. I just think Edwards has better cardio, right? She's the younger fighter. Cornolle now, Uncle Weezy, is having to come all the way to the U.S.
Yeah.
Right? It's a little different, right? It's not the same as fighting in your hometown in France when she was freaking dead tired in round 3 against Edwards. She was very, very tired in that fight. She's probably going to be more tired here. And in the last fight against Hossa, which was in the Apex, again, she was exhausted at the end of that fight. So I kind of like sub, right? I like the sub, but I also like 2-3 here. I think Jocelyn Edwards could get her later in this fight. I do think Cornolle is tough, like on the feet, like she takes good shots. But I think she can get had on the mat, man. She is not good down there at all. So I'm gonna go with Jocelyn Edwards via submission at plus 750, but also 2-3 at I think it's 12-1 and 16-1 in round 3. And I mean, if you really want to get crazy, I want to say round 3 sub is like 45-1 or something.
That's a big number, dude.
Yeah, if you want to get a little a nutty, you know, like they say, you can play that. All right, let's move on. Fight number 6. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 11-3 Alden Correa versus the 10-2 Luis Gurule. And, you know, when I did this template, it was right before the show, like maybe an hour before. It was minus 400 plus 300, Uncle Weezy. Guess what? It's minus 420 plus 350 now on Gurule. So I will kick this one off. I think this line's a little nutty. I'll be honest with you. I think it's crazy. I know these guys pretty damn well. I played Alden Correa at plus 350 against Alejandro Costa. I had 1 unit on him. Great bet. I mean, he looked like he should have been minus 350 right there instead of being the plus 350 dog, right? But I know the guy pretty well. He's a good striker. He can grapple. He's got good anti-wrestling. All of those things are true with Alden Correa. He's got good footwork. He's younger. You know, he's 27, so he's younger than Gurule. The thing with Alden Correa in his losses, Uncle Weezy, is he does not like pressure. He doesn't like fighters that pressure him. And from everything I've seen from Gurule, he's going to pressure him, right? That's how he fights. Now, technique-wise, I don't think this is close. Alden Correa is much better striker. He's got way better footwork, right? But I do think Gurule is going to be stronger when they clinch. I do think Gurule is the better wrestler of the two, right? Mm-hmm. And then I do think Gurule is going to be on the front foot. The problem with Gurule is his chin lately. Yeah. It seems to have kind of gone. This guy in Fury FC was known to be like one of those zombies that walks forward and just breaks you no matter what you hit him with. All of a sudden, he's getting knocked out. He's getting dropped with a jab by Aguilar, who can't hit for shit. And that's the concern here. Like, is Alden Correa just going to land on him and drop him? You know, if Gurule stays on the outside, he's toast. He's mincemeat. He's going to get knocked out. But if he pressures and he does that orthodox, you know, he switches stances, orthodox, kicks the legs, does all these things, mixes in the grappling, right? I think he has a shot to win this fight. So you go from a plus 350 dog to a minus 420 favorite. I think it's a huge market overreaction. And I get it. Gurule lost to Aguilar. Gurule got knocked out against Osbourne. I get it. But this line cannot be accurate, in my opinion. It really can't. Unless he just knocks him out with the first punch. This line cannot be accurate. So I'm going to go with Gurule money line right now. It's plus, like I said, 350. That's a Lambo right there. Yeah. And I think his decision is good too at plus 550 because I think that's how he wins. I don't think he knocks out Correa. I don't think he subs Correa. So, yeah, but I mean, don't get greedy. Plus 350 is plenty for me, at least. Uncle Weezy?
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you just said. I mean, like, first of all, there's really good recency bias on the Correa side, right? He comes in, short notice debut. He beats a veteran in Alessandro Costa. But like you said, I remember when you posted that bet in your Discord, you went Correa plus 350. I posted my write-up in your Discord. I'm like, I agree with Narco. I'm just waiting to pull the trigger. And then it went the other way, you know, because I kind of thought he would get a little bit cheaper even, and it went the complete opposite way. I missed the line, and I didn't wind up cashing on it as a result. But the recency bias is really good on Correa. He's went from being plus 300 now to minus 450 or whatever it is. That's a crazy move in implied probability. And then Gurule, who was minus 230 in his debut against Ode Osbourne, minus 200 in the next fight against Jesus Aguilar. He loses both of those fights. I thought he beat Aguilar. You know, I thought he actually won that fight. It was a close fight, though. But yeah, now here he is. And when I was doing my prop show that I do for my Odd Shopper subscribers, Narco, Gurule was plus 240 when I had entered all the lines before the show. And then when I brought it up on Bet Online, he was like minus 330. Plus 330. And I was like, what the hell is going on with this line? I mean, like, Coria is already too big of a favorite. So I wonder if there's some negative news on Gurule behind the scenes, maybe, that's driving this line to like what I consider to be almost absurd proportions right now. Because you don't see, like, not only is one guy way more expensive than he was in his last fight, the other guy is way cheaper than he was in the last two fights before that. And when I taped this fight, I was like, this is going to be close. This guy Coria is not some killer. You know, it's not, there's nobody like getting carried out on stretchers. And that was such a bullshit finish against Costa. The guy hurts his pinky toe and quits. Dude, he tried to quit between rounds. Did you hear that? His corner was like, dude, get back out there. What are you talking about? Your toe hurts. You know, you remember when Rich Franklin knocked out Chuck Liddell with a broken arm? You know, I mean, like, come on, man.
Some people are real different, Uncle Weezy.
I know, dude. You know, so it was just like, what the hell? You know, I mean, like, Coria is not necessarily going to be a finisher at this level. We have to level at that. So what I was going to give out was Gurule decision was plus 475 the other day. Now that his money line is like approaching plus 400, you could probably get like plus 600 or something like that. I'll tell you,
it's plus 550 on FanDuel. It's gone up.
550, yeah, there you go. Yeah. I mean, I think that, you know, because I don't consider Gurule to be a finisher at this level either. And I think that the only way that that Coria was finished was via submission quite a few fights ago against a pretty tough opponent. I think it was Michael Sear that finished him.
Yeah, Michael Sear. I know him really well. It was, I think, up a weight class, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
It was at 35. Yeah, it was at 35. Correct.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, I mean, I think that Gurule decision would be my play for this fight. I see this fight going to decision. I parlayed the over 2.5 rounds here, and I have actually Alden Coria by decision in my long shot parlay that I give out on my prop show. But for this, better than plus 300, I think Gurule by decision is a solid play this week.
Yeah. I mean, Joseph is making a good point. He got dropped twice there. No, one of them he got dropped. One of them he was rocked. But listen, at the end of the day, his chin doesn't seem great. I will say for sure. But man, it's the price, guys. We're getting this huge price. I mean, Alberto Trujillo is a very similar archetype to Luis Gurule. Yeah. I know that guys. I know these guys. And he's a very similar archetype. And Alden Coria lost to him there about 2 years ago. You know, has he improved some? I'm sure he has improved some. But Luis Gurule is better than Albert Trujillo. You know, he's got better attributes than Albert Trujillo. So
didn't he beat him?
Yeah. Gurule beat him. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't really understand this line. I really don't. Like, I like Coria. I bet Coria. There's a thing of like people like overreact. I feel like to like when people come in short notice, they're huge underdogs. They pull off this huge upset. Mm-hmm. And almost all the time, Uncle Weezy, the following fight, if they're fighting someone like whatever, lackluster or someone mid, they're always big favorites. And it's market overreaction. Like,
yeah. Recency bias. That's all it is.
Yes. Yeah. It has to be. So listen, can Alden Coria knock him out? 100%. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, if this fight hits the scorecards, it's going to be close. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a 29-28 type of fight if this hits the scorecard. So, yeah, I mean, not much else here. I have a unit on Gurule. It went the other way, and I'm thinking of adding a little bit more, honestly. I think this line's fucking bananas. You know, I do want to add one more thing, Uncle Weezy. Since you said, right, I have to put this out there. Since you said, is something going on with Gurule? Why does this line keep going up, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got news for you. He trains with Alex Hernandez. He was a Factory X guy. There you go. Now
that's all we need. You know, they might be like 14 fights, too many fights. Line movement on Gurule.
He used to train with Bulgarian.
Oh, dear God, help us. Oh.
So here, I'm giving you all that now. And yeah, you can make up whatever you want with that. But
oh boy.
Those are facts. Those are facts, Uncle Weezy. That's all. I'm just speaking facts. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 7. It is in the flyweight division. It is a 13-9 Ode Osbourne versus the 10-1 Alibi Idiris. Currently, Alibi minus 130 with the comeback on Ode Osbourne at plus 110. This line has come down quite a bit as well. A lot of people I've seen are on Ode Osbourne. And yeah, I mean, this one's off to you. What do you think here?
Yeah, you know what I think is I'll just give a long shot prop for this one because, you know, it's crazy. I saw Ode Osbourne KO was plus 320, right? But the inside the distance is plus 300. So like nobody's given Ode a chance to submit this dude, but he just got submitted via triangle choke in his last fight from guard against Joseph Morales. Now Morales was kicking his ass, so maybe he was looking for the door, but we almost saw Ode Osbourne lock up a triangle choke against Lazy Boy after he dropped him. And we know that he will jump on a submission every once in a while. Ode Osbourne, he's only attempted 2 submissions in the UFC, but I keep going back to that triangle that he had Lazy Boy in. And I'm seeing Ode Osbourne by submission at plus 1,600. You know, and Alibi Idris has 1 professional loss, and it was by submission. You know, so when he's fighting in Central Asia, you know, there you get a lot of crotch sniffers who are never submitting anybody, right? So, like, he might fall into something again and wind up having to tap. So I kind of like Ode Osbourne by submission at plus 1,600. My pick for the fight, though, is Alibi Idris decision at plus 260 because Ode just he's like the flyweight Phil Rowe. You know, they got the flyweight Phil Rowe on this card too. Another guy with ass takedown defense, horrible get-up game, and can sometimes just, you know, kind of let some minutes go by without doing much. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe Idris by decision is the pick, but I like that submission prop at plus 1,600. It's a big number, and I could see it happening.
Uncle Weezy, I got news for you. I had Ode Osbourne against Steve Erceg at plus 4XX.
Oh, man. That was a close fight.
And that hurt because he almost finished him in round 1. And then Ode Osbourne did Ode Osbourne things, you know, like got taken down. Round 3, he got taken down. He actually got up in round 3, and I'm like, oh, perfect. He's going to put it on him. You know what he did, Uncle Weezy?
Did he shoot a takedown?
Yes, he shot a takedown.
And got like a body lock. I'm sure.
Erceg got him in a body lock and tripped him right back down. And I'm like, fuck me. Why? Why does this happen to me? And I know why, because it's Ode Osbourne, you know. Kind of did the same shit against Lazy Boy. I believe he shot a takedown in round 3 against Lazy Boy. He could have won that fight easily. He decided to engage in the grappling, got taken down, and he lost the fight because of that. Like, this guy's fight IQ is not good. It's not good. Yeah. And I'll keep saying that. He does not have good fight IQ. But then Uncle Weezy, Alibi Idris, his over-under on spins per fight is like 10.
It is, I know.
So the guy's
dervish out there.
The guy's fight IQ is mush as well. So it's very, very bad. He's continuing to do this spinning bullshit. And he might pay for it in this fight, honestly. You spin, and Osbourne could step back and just level you with a straight left hand, right? And put you down. Osbourne hits very hard for flyweight. I mean, he hits hard. He's got very good striking. He's got a good kicking game. He's extremely fast. Like, his twitch ability is insane for a 34-year-old. Like, very, very fast. Very good footwork, you know, when he's fresh. But the fight IQ is just not there. I will say his initial takedown defense is actually not bad. it's when you chain wrestle against him, he doesn't do well, right? And I wanted to bet Ode just for the fact that Alibi, from the fights I watched in lately, like he wasn't grabbed. But then I went deeper into tape, and the guy grapples a lot in the regional. Yeah. He grappled a lot against that Yukubov guy in Ultimate Fighter. So I'm like, oh, this is not good. And he trains with Asu Almabayev, right? So these fuckers are grappling all day long. It kind of turned me off from Osbourne at these prices. It's like fight IQ is bad. Takedown defense is not the best. He gets a little tired towards the end of fights. Alibi shoots a lot of takedowns from what I've seen. I want nothing to do with this fight. So at the end of the day, with the Lambo play, I did go with Osbourne decision. I do think he can win a decision if he's just. I mean, how close was the Usyk fight for him to win a decision? Right, it was very close, and he let it slip. Well, Usyk is a better archetype of Alibi. Like, he's a better jiu-jitsu guy, right? Maybe he's not the better wrestler, but he's got better jiu-jitsu and he's got better striking than Alibi. So I do think it's on a table where Ode can bank rounds here. There's still flyweight at the end of the day, right? Yeah. These are flyweights. And so Ode at plus 430 by decision. I mean, he beat Charles Johnson by decision. I don't know, a couple years ago, right? He does have decision equity, but they're giving him like almost nothing, at plus 430. So, yeah, I'm going to have to give out Ode Osbourne by decision here. Let's see what we have in chat. Ode won the first 2 rounds. He did not win round 2, man. He did not win round 2. He was on the ground the whole time in round 2. He did not win round 2. No Ode KO. Nope. No Ode KO for me. All right. Uncle Weezy, we will move on. Fight number 8. It is, I got to pull this up here. Where are you? All right. It is in the men's. Come up. All right. In the welterweight division, it is the 25-11 Chidi Njokuani versus the 22-7 Carlos Leal. And currently, we have Carlos Leal as a minus 150 favorite with the comeback on Chidi Njokuani at plus 130. There's been a lot of steam, Uncle Weezy. A lot of steam here on Carlos Leal. I mean, it was one-way traffic all week on Chidi, right? When you look at this line, it was Chidi one-way traffic all week. And now all of a sudden, people are hitting Carlos Leal. He's back up to minus 150. And it's getting in the range that it's tempting for me to bet Chidi now. Because I didn't get in at the good numbers, the 155s, the 140s. The line got nuked. But now it's back down to plus 130. And I'm kind of interested now. I'm kind of interested in Chidi Njokuani because Carlos Leal is kind of a punching bag on the feet. He's got hands down a lot. He walks into punches. We saw Salikov. He walked into that huge shot and just got knocked out. The one thing that Carlos Leal was known for was durability. Well, he got knocked out last fight. The other thing you have to kind of take into account is he going to fight differently now? Is he going to be a little more hesitant that he got knocked out? Is he going to grapple more the fact that he got knocked out, right? Because when we compare the Sarabusi fights, right, he had 2 of them, very similar archetype, 6'3", 6'4" guy, 80, 84, 82-inch reach, similar to Chidi, but not as dangerous as Chidi, right? Kickboxer, Muay Thai guy, right? He tried to grapple in those fights quite a bit. He went for cage pushing, grappling. Will he do the same thing against Chidi? I kind of think so. I kind of think he's going to try to mix in grappling here against Chidi. Now, I know that, people have this thing about Chidi. Oh, he's gassy. He's this, he's that. I don't think he's been that gassy at 170. The Reese McKee fight, he looked fine in round 3, you know. And say what you want about Reese McKee, he's not the best, but he kind of pushes a high pace. Yeah. You know, he comes after you, he pushes a high pace. So what I've seen from Carlos Leal in round 3, I don't think the guy has the best cardio either, to be honest. I really don't. So I think this is one of those fights that I think Chidi could just be careful here, snipe him from the outside, and honestly, potentially win a decision here, Uncle Weezy. Fight goes to decision is plus 450.
Yeah.
I like some of that.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one. Fight ends in split decision, Uncle Weezy. 16-1.
What?
Yes, sir.
Man, I love that.
I got to tell you, in his last 2 years, right? 2 or so years, Chidi Njokuani's gone to decision 3 out of his 6 fights. And 2 of them have been by split, Uncle Weezy. Listen. I
love it.
16-1. Fight ends in split. Fight goes to decision. Plus 460. I like both of them, honestly. I really do. I think they're kind of crazy. I think the person that will finish this fight more so than not is Chidi, and early. The later this fight goes, I think the later this fight, it will go to decision. If this fight goes over 1.5, I think it cruises to decision.
Yeah, so I mean, you and I are of kind of like minds here, but I think if there's a finish, it's going to be Leal finishing Chidi, because Chidi has been finished 9 times as a professional. Now, Carlos Leal, on the other hand, has 29 professional fights, and it wasn't until the 29th that he got knocked out. And it wasn't a chin shot, right? It was behind the ear. It was a temple shot that knocked him out. And my thought is that could be a one-off. And if that's the case, right, I kind of like Chidi Njokuani by decision, which is sitting damn near plus 1,000, right? Because here's the thing. If that was a one-off knockout for Leal, well, then Chidi is somebody that can win minutes in the clinch. He can win minutes at kickboxing range. And Carlos Leal is an effective of enough of a wrestler that we got to worry about him like taking this dude down and winning 2 rounds with top control. He could barely get Sadabusi down, and Chidi's got decent takedown defense. So I think that Chidi by decision at plus 900, which is where I saw it last, but now that the line is moved from where I had that plus 900 when Chidi was plus 100 on the money line. Now he's plus 130. So yeah, I mean, I think even Leal by decision is plus 1,000. Njokuani by decision
950 on Chidi.
Yeah, that's a crazy number. I'm definitely throwing a quarter unit on that this week, but I'm going to have to throw a quarter unit on that ends by split too.
16-1 is insane.
That is crazy. I
think if this fight does hit the scorecards, it's going to be close.
Yeah. Yeah. And if Carlos Leal is a little bit worried about that last knockout, he might try to make this a grindy, cage pushy fight, which it might see the scorecards there. Now, I parlayed the under 1.5 because I feel like if there is a finish in this fight, Chidi could nuke anybody early. Dude, you step into one of his knees, you step into one of those elbows, one of those kicks, he can put anybody out. And Leal was knocked out in his last fight. But, Chidi's a guy that if Carlos Leal kind of comes out fighting like he did against Morono and Salikov, puts Chidi on the back foot and just starts throwing haymakers in boxing range, he could get Chidi out of there early too. But I think that the more this fight goes on, the less likely it is to finish. So, yeah, I think it's, if we can get past the first round here, I think that fight is going to be really live.
Yeah. I mean, the one fight against Sadabusi was a split. And even the first one could have been a split, to be honest. Like, they gave it to Seed unanimous, but it could definitely been a split. So, I don't know. I think this is bananas for it to be that big of a price fight goes. But, yeah, we'll see. Maybe I think they're banking on Leal just kind of fighting like a madman and maybe even either getting clipped or him clipping Chidi, right? I kind of think differently just because he got knocked out for the first time. He might fight differently, you know, and he knows how dangerous Chidi is. Like he's got to know, you know, so yeah, I mean, this is a fun fight, honestly. I think it's a very fun fight. I don't like that a lot of not many people have given like Carlos Leal a shot in this fight. I think that's wrong, kind of. I know skill for skill and Njokuani is better, but Leal is a dog. Like, even though he got knocked out, like the guy is a dog. He's not easy to get out of there. All right, let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 10-2 Zach Reese versus the 31-14 Michel Pereira. Currently, Michel Pereira minus 175, and the comeback on Zach Reese at plus 150. This is another fight where we've gotten some steam here on Michel Pereira. You know, people are starting to bet him now. And Uncle Weezy, are you one of the people that have bet Michel Pereira?
You know, maybe I'm emotionally and mentally weak, but you know, if I were to bet money on this guy and then he were to go out there and pull the same shit he pulled in the Magomedov fight, you know, my head might be in the oven by the end of the night, you know? So like but here's the thing, right? If you're saying like, all right, you have to place a bet on this fight, you've got to back either Reese or Pereira. I'm backing Pereira. These guys aren't close in terms of their mixed martial arts ability. I mean, where is Zach Reese better in the cage other than, you know, just being a little younger? And it's like 6 months. He's barely younger than Pereira. And maybe he's got a little bit trickier Brazilian jiu-jitsu when the fight hits the ground, but this guy's chin is not good at all. And I mean, the striking just kind of looks a little bit haphazard. And Pereira is a tricky guy. He's got good footwork. He's fast. He's explosive. And when he throws, he's looking to kill you. So, I mean, I'm thinking it's going to be Pereira first round knockout. That's what I'm thinking. I as much as tempted as I am to want to play that submission prop at plus 500, I think Pereira is going to knock this dude out. And I think it's going to be early. So I don't really see any Lambo plays for this. Like, it's kind of shocking to see Pereira at KO at plus 190 after the performances that he's had 3 fights in a row. But here we are. And so there's just not enough meat on the bone here, or anything on the Pereira side. And I don't want to recommend that people bet Reese because that's making a really big assumption. You know, and the assumption that you're making if you're betting Reese is that, you know, the home field advantage matters and that Michel Pereira is done with MMA. You know, so I think that's, you know, I think it's Pereira KO. That's what I'm going with, but I don't know, man. I won't play it with my own money because, you know, if this guy comes out doing that shit that he did in the Magomedov fight, it's going to be horrible to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that Magomedov fight was very, very bad look. But to be fair, like Magomedov footwork, striking, athleticism, all of that is so much better than Zach Reese. Like Zach Reese is standing in front of you, not much footwork. Zach Reese is honestly not a good fighter, man. Like his wrestling is terrible. His striking defense is terrible. His striking is not very good. His cardio is not very good. I mean, his chin is very bad, in my opinion. He got hurt very bad in the last fight against Jackson McVeigh with the elbows. I mean, McVeigh, that's the other thing. Physicality-wise, this guy is not physical at all, man. He was getting out physical by McVeigh easily early on there. Tusko Todorovic was taking this guy down left, right, and center, and that was an extremely close fight. I know it says unanimous decision for Zach Reese. I had it for Dusko Todorovic in that fight. I thought Dusko Todorovic won the fight. And then you watch Bakoyev knock this guy out cold from full guard. Full fucking guard. He knocks this guy out. You don't see that in the UFC very often. I can't count how many times that's happened in the UFC on one hand, because I don't think it's happened more than 5 times in the UFC. To be knocked out from guard is insane. And he got knocked out cold. And then you see the ultimate thing with Cody Brundage, just pick him up and slam this guy, knock him out. And it's like, I don't think this guy has a chin, dude. Like, I really don't think this guy has any type of chin. And he's not very durable. And Pereira's explosive. He hits hard. He's faced a much better level of competition. And I know people make fun of him for getting knocked out with Daukaus. It's not the best look. I do think he looked fine early. He was landed some good body kicks. He looked like he was on his toes. I think he just got caught with a check right hook. He didn't see it, and it hit him in the temple, and it dropped him. And then those follow-up elbows were just nasty, man. I mean, those follow-up elbows were bad. So, yeah, could Zach Reese maybe land some big shot, a head kick, something, and potentially knock out Pereira? Sure. But, I mean, Pereira's better everywhere. He's more durable. He's got better cardio. He's a better level of opposition. I mean, I can go on and on and on, and he's only sitting at minus 175 still. So I like Pereira here by KO. I think he's going to knock this guy out. He's way faster. He's way more explosive, better footwork, better striker. You name it, Uncle Weezy. He's better.
Yeah.
So plus 200 is fine with me. You can get on Bet Online at plus 200. I think he's going to knock him out. I really do. It's probably round 1, but it could be round 2. It could be round 3. I think he has better cardio than Zachary Reese. Zach Reese has not very good cardio. He got taken down by Jose Medina in round 3, for Christ's sake.
I don't remember that. That happened?
Yes. Jose Medina got a takedown on this guy, Uncle Weezy.
Oh, that's hilarious. That dude from Israel took him down too.
Oh,
that's
he
a bad
took him
look.
down within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Of that fight. It was like a strong gust of wind came and boom, Zach Reese is down.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the next fight of the night, and it is in the men's welterweight division. It is the 11-0 Josiah Harrell versus the 11-0 Jacoby Smith, and currently Jacoby Smith is a minus 350 favorite with the comeback on Josiah Harrell at plus 285. I will kick this one off. I got a hot take here, Uncle Weezy. I like Josiah Harrell. I like what I see from this guy. I like the anti-grappling. I like the get-up game. I like the cardio. His striking is actually pretty good. This guy is just a dog, Uncle Weezy. The last guy he fought, I want people to know, if you watch this guy, the Uzbeki guy, all he did was grapple with Mektabek Orlabai. The guy's a very good grappler, insanely good grappler, wrestler, right? He could not hold Josiah Harrell down. Harrell kept getting up, making him work until he got on top and started beating the daylights out of this guy, right? And so I know he's coming in against Jacoby Smith. I like Jacoby Smith. I think he has a bright future if he can fix some things, right? Number one, cardio is very suspect to me. It's extremely suspect that you're getting very tired against Nico Price in round 1. At the end of round 1, he looked exhausted. When Nico Price after 0 resistance in that fight, and you were tired, right? Then I watched these other fights that go to distance, Austin Jones, Le'Veon Lewis. There was really no resistance in those fights. These guys were getting taken down. Le'Veon Lewis probably gave them the most resistance, and Jacoby Smith was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is Le'Veon Lewis was more exhausted than he was. So he can do shit. Josiah Harrell's different. He's got good cardio. He has a good, I loved his interview. Listening to this guy's interview was very good. Like, he has a good head on his shoulders, you know? And I think if Jacoby Smith does not knock this guy out in round 1, right? I think Jacoby Smith is getting finished here in round 2 and 3. I like Josiah Harrell here. Rounds 2 and 3, 1,700 and 2,500. I don't like what I've seen from Jacoby Smith when fights. And the other thing, Uncle Weezy, I'm going to say, he's never faced an athletic, strong, guy like Josiah Harrell that's going to continue to work to get back up. He's never faced that, Jacoby Smith, and he's going to end up facing it here. And I've seen him gas against lesser guys, right, that don't make him work like Josiah Harrell is going to make him work. So I like Josiah Harrell here on the money line as well. I just think that you can potentially get a much better number if you wait for the live, because I do think he's going to get taken down early, but he's going to continue to make Jacoby Smith work. And there's a reason why the UFC was bringing this guy in a couple of years ago before his surgery against Jack Della Maddalena. They liked what they saw with him, and I think he's improved since then. He's over there with Immortal, former UFC fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's getting good looks there. These guys are good coaches. They're coaching him the right way. And I think he's going to be big trouble for Jacoby Smith later in the fight. I really do. All the muscle on Jacoby Smith, that needs a lot of oxygen, guys. This guy needs a lot of oxygen to feed those muscles. So I'm going with 2-3 here, 17 and 25 to 1. I think he's going to finish him later. He needs to not get clipped in round 1. That's the only thing.
Yeah, because Jacoby can absolutely clip you. This guy is he's a crazy athlete. You know, for somebody of Jacoby Smith's size, explosiveness, the Oklahoma State wrestling background, he's got literally all the tools that he needs in order to really make a run in this division. But the conditioning does need to improve, and that'll happen with time. But when you're as explosive as Smith is, there's really only so far that you can go into fights before you're going to get tired, because you're throwing 100% power into every punch. You're wrestling, which is exhausting at this level. So, it's going to be impossible for this guy to be like Marab or Fluffy Hernandez or something like that. But if he can keep working on that conditioning, there's going to be it's going to be really hard to beat this dude, because, you're going to have to stuff takedowns, land the bigger shots on the feet. And I think that Jacoby Smith's a phenomenal prospect. But, I got my ear to the streets, so before Josiah Harrell was going to fight Dazmatov in LFA, I got a call from my friend who's over at VFS, right? And he's telling me about Dazmatov. He's like, Weezy, I'm telling you, this dude is the real deal. I'm in the room with this guy. I watch this guy grapple. He is heavy on top. He's got a number of really good takedowns. He's got power on the feet. And he's like, I know this guy Josiah Harrell is a really good prospect, he says. And we're not taking this fight lightly at all. But he's like, I'm telling you, this Dazmatov kid's the truth. And then Harrell goes out there and loses round 1, But round 2, man, he winds up getting on top of this dude. He outworks him. And it wasn't like Dazmatov didn't get him down either. Dazmatov got him down. Harrell was just started threatening with submissions. When he went to go to defend the submission, he'd move to the next position, get up, find reverses, or get takedowns of his own. And yeah, man, Nico Price is a crafty veteran, but if you're getting tired after 5 minutes with Nico Price, that's not a good sign if you're fighting somebody like Josiah Harrell that rolls downhill later in fights. So my thought is that Jacoby Smith is the best fighter that Harrell has seen thus far. So I think it's going to take him a little bit longer to start rolling downhill than normal. But how about Josiah Harrell round 3 or decision at plus 460? And then what you do is you just sprinkle a little bit of that round 2 prop, which is sitting around 1,600, 1,700. So that's how I'm playing it. And I know that you like Harrell this week. And when I wrote this fight up, my conclusion is that it's Harrell, it's dog or pass for sure. But they just released props today on this. I've been waiting on that Harrell round 3, Harrell decision, Harrell round 2. I'm going to be in there. That's the first bet that I'm making after I'm done talking with you guys today.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun fight, I think. Jacoby Smith could, of course, just absolutely knock him out in round 1 and throw something big and put him away, kind of like the Preston Parsons one, right? He has big power. But I'm telling you, if he doesn't finish him in round 1, he's gonna go through fucking hell.
Yes.
So, and you heard Uncle Weezy talk about that guy from Uzbekistan. I didn't know any of what you just said. I just watched his tape, and I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a very good grappler.
Dude, he's good. He's
Yeah.
good. You could see it on the tape before I even got the call from VFS.
Yeah.
You know?
He's a very good grappler. All right. Let's move on. Fight number 11. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 17-6 Sergey Spivac versus the 26-7 Ante Delija. And Uncle Weezy. It's minus 120 and a plus 100 now on Spivac. And again, lots of money has been coming in on Sergey Spivac. This guy was at like minus 160 range, Delija.
Yeah.
And now he's all the way down to 120. And yeah, 2 heavyweights, 2 guys that are coming off losses. What do you have here?
Yeah, this is a tricky one because, my first thought was Delija KO round 1, and I still think that that's probably what's going to happen because Sergey doesn't really provide a lot of a danger factor on the feet, right? You don't really have to worry about this guy, dropping you. I don't think he has any knockdowns at the UFC level. Let me check my stats here real quick. And just so I'm not lying to you guys, because I know how many knockdowns he has. Sergey Spivac has landed 0 knockdowns in 14 UFC fights. And Delija is a guy who's just going to walk you down at distance striking range. And in addition to that, Delia's also got good judo. Now, Sergey Spivac has excellent MMA judo. I always, as somebody that was my base growing up, like I wrestled and I did judo, but I sucked at wrestling. But I was good at judo, man. I really liked judo. And Sergey Spivac's MMA judo is phenomenal. The way that this guy can get open mat takedowns from the clinch is pretty special. And I love it the way that he sets up. Like if he wants to throw you towards him, he starts pushing you back. And he waits for you to push into him. And then he changes his momentum and he'll throw you over his leg or foot sweep you or something. And I think that Spivac is what he needs to do is he needs to clinch up. Because if he doesn't clinch up here, I don't think his open mat wrestling is any good. Sergey Spivac is not blast doubling anybody. He's not running the pipe on single legs. He's not really getting high crotches on the fence. He is a guy that is using your momentum against you. He's using judo in order to get you down. And the great thing about those kind of takedowns, Narco, is that when you get those kind of takedowns, it's easy to hold somebody down. If you throw somebody with a Harai Goshi, they're going to stay down when you get them down. If you get somebody with a really good inside trip or outside trip, those are the kind of takedowns where you're immediately, at least in half guard, sometimes even in side control, and you can really start working for finishes. So, but what I think is going to happen here is that Delija is going to pressure forward, but he's going to stay out of the clinch. And if he does that, I think he's going to land big shots early and finish him by knockout. But there's just really not a Lambo play with a Delija knockout because that's what people are expecting. And, the weird thing is that everybody I've heard has been on Delija this week. And yet the money just keeps coming in on Sergey. Whenever that happens, I feel like, there's some really quiet people out there that move lines that are backing this dude right now. And I just don't have enough faith in his wrestling to think that he's going to actually win this fight. So, but there's really no, what's Delija KO 1? I mean, that's, I think, his best. When he gets KOs, it's usually there. Let me look here.
I'm looking for you here. Delija KO 1, 275. Yuck.
No, I don't like. I mean, his money line is what, minus 140.
Yeah, 120, yeah.
It's kind of like the Pereira thing. I think the Pereira's got the same round 1 prop. It's like plus 275, but it was plus 275 when he was minus 150 on the money line. I'm like, that's trash, man. So, I mean, as far as, you know what? How about Sergey Spivac inside the distance. That's, because if he gets this guy down and he gets to a dominant position, Sergey Spivac's going to submit you, or he's going to knock you out with ground and pound. So Sergey Spivac, and that's only plus 220. So I'll give you KO. I'll give you KO because he's actually got more knockout wins. He's got 3 knockout wins and only 1 submission win, and the submission win came from guard. So we'll go Sergey Spivac KO plus 5, plus 460, plus 420.
Yeah. I'm gonna go a little different here, believe it or not. Spivac has been finished in 4 fights out of his 23, right? But one of them was Jalton Almeida. I mean, that was basically grappling, got him, flattened him out, and just punched him out, right? I don't think that's happening with Delija against him. I doubt it. The other one was Cyril Gane, obviously very good striker, just kind of broke him in that fight. The other one was Aspinall, another very good striker, and the one before that was Walt Harris. It was a knee. He knocked him out with a knee.
Yeah.
And those are the 4 knockouts. Outside of that, he's never been subbed, right? He's been only decision 4 times, and he's 2-2 there. Delija, believe it or not, has been a decision 8 times, and he's 7-1, Uncle Weezy, in decision. 7-1. So I don't think both of these guys have good cardio. I don't think Spivac has good cardio. I don't think Delija has good cardio. And I think if this fight makes it out of round 1, I think it's very good potential. It might go to distance. Honestly, I really do. And I'm taking a shot on Delija by decision. It's 650 plus 650 by decision for Delija. The guy's 7-1, right? Like I said, Spivac, he's only gone there 4 times, but the fight to go, it was like plus 230, I believe. They're not giving Delija much of a chance to win a decision. I mean, I think it should be more or less than 650, but they're thinking he's going to knock him out early. That's where most of the value is or most of the equity is for Delija to finish. It's round 1 KO or early KO. But I tend to think this fight might get sloppy, might get a lot of clinching, maybe not a lot of takedowns. And Delija just wins the striking moments, in my opinion, and wins a decision plus 650. So, yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing, but I do think there's potential this fight goes to distance. I really do. I know everybody thinks it ends. I kind of think opposite. I think, yes, Delia's crazy, he throws big shots, but Spivac is kind of I don't want to call him a P word, but he's kind of scared. So I don't know if he's just going to sit there and engage. He might, if Delija comes in close throwing big, he might just try to clinch him, try to take him down.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's what he has to do.
Fight. What?
I think it's what he has to do.
Yeah. And then against Costa, he actually took some good shots for a change. He showed a little bit more grit, in that fight. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Delija by decision plus 650. And let's move on. Where are we at? We are here in the featherweight division. It is the 19-10 Dan Ige versus the 25-7 Mel Costa. Currently, Costa minus 230. Comeback on Ige is plus 195. This is another line that's kind of creeping up as well. It's money keeps coming in on Costa. He's up to 230. This is a guy that historically I've tried to fade, Uncle Weezy. I had Charrier last fight, and he got head kicked into oblivion. I had the fight before that. Who was the tall guy he fought? Julian Erosa.
Yeah.
And that was a close fight, honestly. If he didn't get rocked
close
with those stupid head kicks, it would have been a very close fight, and I lost that one. And I kind of feel like Dan Ige has a style that can potentially give Costa problems, right? If he implements that style, right? Is he going to implement the same style that he's going to, that he did against Woodson, where he's like heavy pressure, trying to throw big shots, I think he can have success with that because I've seen Costa get landed on. He tends to drop his hands a lot in the striking, man. He drops his hands a ton, and Ige is a one shot type of hitter. Like he lands a big shot on you, you're probably going to go out, right? So Mel Costa has been knocked out before. Ige hits like a truck, and he changed his name to 100K instead of 50K for this fight. That's bad news for Costa. What I will say is it's in a big cage that helps Costa a lot with his footwork, kicking range. Yeah. But Ige has to have some type of brain. His coach has to tell him, listen, dude, you cannot stay on the outside with this guy because he will kick you, and kick you more, right? You got to make this a crazy, rough fight. Last fight against Pitbull, Ige did not look good getting taken down like that over and over. I don't think Costa, I mean, yes, he can get takedowns. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's like that type of wrestler. He's more like a body lock, trip, takedown kind of guy. I think this fight is close, honestly, Uncle Weezy. I think the fight goes at a pretty high clip. I think split decision at 4.5 to 1 is not bad. And then I think Ige by split at 14 to 1 is not bad. So I'm going to go with fight ends in split 450, Ige by split at 14 to 1. Uncle Weezy, what do you got for us?
So because of the way that Costa probably wins this fight, and in my opinion, he wins the fight by staying at kicking range, moving laterally, and using the better long-range weapons here, and then maybe mixing in some takedowns if Ige starts to pressure. So obviously, I kind of feel like with a guy like Ige, who's literally never been finished and has faced, some of the biggest killers in the division. I mean, like, he's been out there against every guy almost in the division that has like one punch KO power. If you think about it, like you look at the names that Ige's fought, those are guys that are going to knock you out if you don't have, really top-notch elite durability. And, Ige was kind of getting punted around the cage by Pitbull in the last fight. And I was like, maybe we're getting to that point where Dan has, reached the denouement and it gets just downhill from here. But if it isn't, Ige's got to be the side here because the way that Costa wins this fight means that if you're Dan Ige, you got to pressure forward. You got to close this distance. You can't be at kickboxing range with this guy. You're more durable than him. You hit harder than him, so you got to march forward and try to take this dude's head off and then stuff the takedowns when they do come. And if you can do that, you give yourself a chance to win this fight. And the plus 195 money line looks good. I was looking at the plus 3.5 points handicap earlier in the week. It was sitting around minus 135. I hesitated. Next thing I know, it's minus 180, so I don't want to pay that, but in my opinion, if Ige fights to his strengths, I think he's going to knock this dude out. Ige KO plus 480. I think he pressures forward relentlessly and looks to find the chin because if he doesn't do that, I don't give him really any chance to win this fight.
Yeah, it sits on the outside. He's pretty much cooked.
He's not. It's going to look like Costa when he fought Austin Lingo. He's going to get absolutely the shit kicked out of him at range.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll see. This is kind of I guess you can call it an IQ test for Ige and see how he bounces back from the Pitbull fight. All right, moving on to the co-main event of the night, and it is in the welterweight division. It is a 12-3 Uros Medic versus the 16-7 Jeff Hands of Steel Neal. Currently, Neal minus 200 with the comeback on Uros Medic at plus 170. Uncle Weezy, a lot of talk this week about Neal getting sober, how the past 5 years he's been fighting drunk and on drugs. Kind of an insane story coming out with Jeff Neal.
It really is. And, this is going to be one of those fights where I think we start to see, where he's going to go from here, because Jeff's already 35, he's a phenomenal fighter who really, I mean, like, does this guy even look at the contracts they send him? You'd think like, if your manager would be like, come on, man, you don't have to take the Shavkat fight. You don't have to take the Protest fight. They're lining him up against every single killer in the division. And he's fought an elite strength of schedule in one of the elite divisions in the UFC. So, this is a massive step up in competition for Uros Medic. It's going to be a southpaw versus southpaw striker battle here. And we've seen Uros Medic get absolutely flatlined, by another southpaw in Punahele Soriano recently. So, and if Puna can get you, Jeff Neal can get you. This guy is, there's a lot of fight. Like Shavkat tried to clinch up with this guy constantly. He didn't want any part of Jeff Neal at distance striking range. And Shavkat's an absolute menace. Shavkat walks people down with just a complete lack of respect. So to see Shavkat kind of like avoid the striking against somebody of Neal's quality tells you all you need to know about how good Jeff Neal is on the feet here. But, I parlayed Jeff Neal's money line, and I think he's going to win this fight. But if we're talking Lambo plays, I was in the building when Jeff Neal got knocked out by Carlos Prates, and you can hear the sound that it made, and it was sickening. It was somebody like taking a baseball bat to a pumpkin. And it's only 6 months later, and Uros Medic hits hard. So I kind of feel like the Lambo play here is Uros Medic by KO. This is how he wins. This is how this dude wins fights. He's got serious power. And if the sobriety, is maybe getting the Neal where mentally he's not as calm as he would be, and if that knockout affected him negatively, which it certainly could have, he did not get up off that canvas for several minutes. And I remember I was sitting next to Brady and my guy Avery there watching that fight, and we were genuinely concerned for Jeff Neal's health after that KO. So I'm betting Jeff Neal. I think he's way better than Uros Medic. I've parlayed his money line, but the Lambo play is Uros Medic by knockout at plus 300.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you. I think that's his win condition, right? That's how he wins all of his fights. But man, the levels of these two guys is just night and day. I mean, look at the murderer's row Jeff Neal's facing, man. Look at the murderer's row. I mean, Carlos Prates, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, I mean, Stephen Thompson, he even fought Bilal back in the day. Like, this guy's fought everybody, right? And the minute he steps down, he just wins, right? That's what happens with Jeff Neal. Like, he's got very good boxing. He's got very good power. He's got excellent cardio. He's got very good footwork. Defensively, he's sound. The guy is just a really good, very hard to take this guy down. Takedown defense is very good. He actually can wrestle when he wants to. He just doesn't much. He's a boxer. He likes to box. And then you look at, the knockout was bad. It was August of 16. So we're talking about going on 7 months. So yeah, obviously it's scary that he's coming back after 7 months, but I did think he took enough time. 7 months is good off of a knockout like that, right? The other thing I will say is when you watch that fight, Prates landed some beautiful straight right hands, like right to his chin. Didn't even fucking flinch. Like, I'm like, man, his chin is good. The problem is that elbow landed like on the temple. Like, no one's going to take that. Like, everybody's going to be out. The sobriety stuff, I think it's a good thing. It cannot be a bad thing, right? Like, this guy was saying in every fight in the last 5 years, up until 2 weeks before the fight, he was doing heavy drugs and alcohol. That cannot help you, And then you watch Uros Medic, and sure, I like his striking. Very good striking, good power, right, Uncle Weezy? But here are some things that have stuck out with Uros Medic for me on tape. Straight punches, he does not see them. He gets dropped by straight punches all the time. Gilbert Urbina dropped him with a straight punch. Punahalo Soriano knocked him out with a straight punch. Matthew Sellersberger dropped him twice with a straight punch. I know the stats say once. He dropped him 2 different times with a straight punch. What is Jeff Neal's favorite punch? The straight left hand. It's his best punch. And the other thing with Uros Medic is he hasn't done well against southpaws, Uncle Weezy. Southpaw.
Yep.
You know why? You want to know? One, it's harder for him to see that straight left, I guess, for whatever reason. 2, his body kicks and head kicks are taken away. You cannot throw a body kick and a head kick southpaw versus southpaw, right? It doesn't work. So I still think this line's very short, honestly, for Jeff Neal. Like, I just do. I think he can win in every way possible. I think the durability thing, it's honestly, people are guessing that he's not durable anymore just because of that one knockout. But outside of that, like, did you see the Rakhmonov fight? Like, unfucking real amount of punishment he took, and he dropped Rakhmonov in round 3.
Yeah.
So he's got the better cardio, better. I mean, everything is better. Like, I don't understand what Uros Medic does better than this guy. And he's less durable, Uros Medic. Uros Medic's been dropped 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
And finished more than Jeff Neal. So I don't know. This line is crazy, but I think Neal's going to knock this guy out for sure. I'm very confident. I think it's 2-3, honestly. I think maybe because of that early knockout, because Jeff Neal, his hands are always up. He's defensively responsible, right? 2-3 KOs plus 360 on Jeff Neal. I think that's the way to go. It could be round 1. It could be round 1 and the fight's over. But I think because of the last KO, he might be a little bit more defensively sound, pick this guy apart a little bit more with the hands, and eventually finish him in 2-3. So 2-3 KO plus 360 for me on Jeff Neal. Before we move on to the main event, again, what's scrolling down below, Discord link, it's down below. Click it, get in the Discord for free. There's a free section. I gave out Jeff Neal 3 units minus 180 earlier in the week. I love Jeff Neal in this spot. If I get burned, I get burned, but I love this spot for him. And I have a ton of bets on Cage Warriors tomorrow, bunch of underdogs. I got a BKB bet for tomorrow. So there's a lot going on. The Discord is great community. I got like over 400 people in there, like just an awesome community. So if you want to come in there, links down below for free. And then if you like what you see, then you can join from there. It's up to you. With that being said, let's move on to the main event of the night. And that is, where is it? All right, there it is. That is in the middleweight division. That is the 29-7 Sean Strickland versus the 15-2 Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Currently, Anthony Hernandez actually down a little bit to minus 250 with the comeback on Strickland at plus 210. And then I will kick this one off here. I kind of went back and forth, like how, what, like everything on this fight. I was thinking maybe Hernandez can finish Strickland later in the fight, but the odds are shit. The odds are terrible.
Yeah.
For Anthony Hernandez late. I can't believe FanDuel. Listen to this. I've never seen this with FanDuel. FanDuel 3-4-5 for Anthony Hernandez. Plus 1,200. Plus 1,200. Plus 1,300.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're on it. So I can't give that out. You look at these other books, and it's even worse. We're looking at 900s for rounds 4 and 5.
Yeah,
They
fights
absolutely-
never end in rounds 4 or 5. Like the percentage of that happens, it's so low.
900 Uncle Weezy in rounds 4 and 5 around the market. It's crazy.
Nuts.
So, for me, it's like I just think Sean Strickland he has some attributes that are good, but he has some other attributes that are bad for this fight. One, he doesn't carry a lot of power in his hands. So he's not going to deter Anthony Hernandez from coming forward. Two, he doesn't fight as well on the back foot. And I think he's going to be on the back foot in this fight against Fluffy. Fluffy doesn't give the back foot to anybody. And I've seen Strickland has been on the back foot. Now, the other thing is his best weapons, the teeps, the jabs, they're a lot different when you're going backwards. They're not the fucking same. Strickland is a front foot fighter. He does much better when he's on the front foot, pressuring you, keeping you, jabbing you, getting you exhausted. I don't think that's happening here. The other thing is, I think Anthony Hernandez is an underrated striker, man. I really do. I think his striking is actually good. And people sleep on his striking. He's got good kicks. He's got a good jab. He's long. I don't think people give him enough credit for striking. And in this fight, I think he uses some striking to mix in the grappling, to pressure Sean. And when he gets him down, yeah, Sean is hard to hold down. He gets up. But I don't know in the later rounds if it's going to be that easy to get up, man. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be easy because Anthony Hernandez has unlimited cardio, it seems like. This guy can fucking go 10 rounds if he has to. And yes, Sean Strickland has good cardio, but who's grappled him heavy? Who's chain wrestled heavy against this guy? Nobody. Duplessis got takedowns, but Duplessis has no control, man. Let's be honest. The guy doesn't try to control you. So, I don't know. I like Fluffy here quite a bit. I don't think Sean has like the power to put him off, take him away from him. I think he's going to be fighting on the back foot. Like all the things I said, I think are bad. But I do think at the end of the day, Fluffy decision is probably how it's going to go. It's plus 155. It's not like Fluffy finishes everybody, you know, and Sean is super, super durable. So plus 155, Fluffy decision for me.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing for me because, yeah, the way that you described it is the way that I see this one kind of playing out because, first of all, I think if you're going to beat Fluffy Hernandez, you need like one of two things. You either need just like elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu where, you know, if this guy makes a mistake, you can make him pay and submit him. Or you need one punch like Alex Pereira left hook knockout power. Because if you don't have those things, you're not going to win minutes against this guy. He's never going to stop moving forward. He's got a head like a fucking cannonball. You know, he will continuously go for submissions. And here's the other thing that, you know, like a lot of fighters, you'll see fighters get a takedown that they've been working for really hard. And when that guy gets right back up, it's over. It was like Bryce Mitchell versus Gene Silva. You know, when Gene Silva got back up that one time that Bryce really worked to get him down, the fight was over shortly thereafter. I even remember Benoit Saint Denis versus Thiago Moises. Moises gets a takedown. He worked his ass off for it. Benoit Saint Denis puts in the butterflies, and he stands right back up, and the fight's over right after that, you know, because there's nothing more tiring than working for a takedown, and then the guy gets back up. Fluffy doesn't care if you get back up. He doesn't care. He's just going to take you down again. And as a matter of fact, I think he actually lets people up sometimes. Go watch the Delija fight. He took Delija down a number of times and never went into his guard. And he just up, down, up, down, up, down. Guess what? You're going to get tired before me. And even if Strickland doesn't get tired, he's going to be on the back foot. He's going to be defending, you know, and he would need to really catch Anthony in a bad spot on the ground in order to out-grapple him here. So, you know, I think what Hernandez is smarter than people think he is too, man. You know, like that game plan in the Delija fight was absolutely flawless. He never gave Roman a chance to start looking for those leg locks, to start to start chaining together submissions like he did against Hernandez to find the finish, because that dude's really tricky, especially with his guard jiu-jitsu. And and the one last point that I want to make was, if some of you guys out there think that Sean Strickland is going to out-grapple Anthony Hernandez, I'm here to tell you that shit ain't happening, and here's why. Because if Sean Strickland could out-grapple a guy like Hernandez, then why did he shoot 0 takedowns against Alex Pereira? Why didn't he try to grapple against Jared Cannonier? Why didn't he grapple against Dricus du Plessis, for instance? Why didn't he grapple in some of these fights where he was just sitting out there throwing jabs and letting close rounds get away from him? If he could do it, he would, but he can't. And Fluffy is just a different kind of animal, and I don't think Sean has any of the necessary skills that you need in order to give this guy any problems. So I think Hernandez is going to just absolutely destroy him. But I think it's going to be Hernandez decision, though. I really do. I don't think he's going to find the finish, but I think he's going to torture him for 5 full rounds.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like he does do that. Anthony does let people. I think it may be to exhaust him. Like they work back up. He's like, I'm just going to take him right back down. Let him work back up. I'll kind of let him back up just to take him down again and let him work again. So, yeah, I mean, good points there. All right. With that being said, let's move on to the Lambo Parlay section. I have 2 of them this week. My 2 Lambo Parlays are Njokuani decision, Delija decision, 77-1. And then the other one is a round robin with Carly Judice and Jocelyn Edwards 2-3. They're huge numbers. I mean, if you round robin both of them 2-3, they're big numbers. So yeah, that's who I have here. What do you got here, Uncle Weezy, for your Lambo Parlay?
Okay, Lambo Parlay this week, I'm going to go with Jocelyn Edwards to win inside the distance. I'm going to go with Josiah Harrell, round 3 or decision. And then, even though it's juice to the tits, we just want to get a little bit more on this. Fluffy Hernandez money line.
Do you know what that comes out to? Let me check.
I can do it here on Bet Rivers.
I can do it really quick. Not a big deal. Let me hear ITD for who?
So Jocelyn Edwards inside the distance.
Got it.
Josiah Harrell round 3 or decision.
Oh, that one's
plus 460, I think.
Where is that under? Round props, alternate round.
Yes. Yeah, round props. Yes,
okay,
on Bet Rivers.
Money line.
And then just the money line for Fluffy.
31-1.
There we go. 31-1. Let's hit that.
All right. We are all done here. I appreciate Uncle Weezy for coming on, filling in for Tim. Uncle Weezy, thank you very much. The floor is yours. We have 600 live viewers. Appreciate all of you for being in here on a Friday night. Yeah, Uncle Weezy. All of his stuff, by the way, is below. All the links to his Twitter, X, you name it, YouTube, Rumble, everything is down below. Go ahead, Uncle Weezy.
Yeah, everything's in the description of the video. And if you check that out, you'll find my Rumble channel. You'll find my YouTube channel. You'll find my my @ for X. And you'll also find an Odds Shopper coupon code for 50% off your first month's membership to my probability stats and content package, which has amazing fight write-ups, amazing statistical packages, access to 2 shows that I do every single week that I don't put out for free on YouTube. Full card breakdown show called Balls Deep Breakdowns, a plus EV prop betting show called Propability. You get access to all my track bets, my Discord, all that stuff. $12.50 a month for your first month. So if you want to support my work, the link is in the description of this video to check that out. I think I still got like 6 or 7 slots left on that half price for your first month. So get it now. And thanks for having me on, Narco. I think we came up with some really solid spots this week. And I'm going to be putting in the rest of my bets late night tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be an interesting card. I have a lot of bets for this card, so we'll see what happens. I'm going with some veterans and stuff like that. But again, thank you very much for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody in chat, everybody on Rumble, X, YouTube. Appreciate all of you. By the way, please, guys, like, subscribe, comment, follow, do everything. I'm gonna answer everybody that comments. I've been doing that. If you have questions, concerns, anything like that, again, the link is to join the Discord for free is down below. Just click that link. You'll get into the Discord. And from there, if you want to go to the main stuff, you can. But again, thank you very, very much to everybody. Thank you to Uncle Weezy for joining us. And let's cash those tickets for UFC Houston